You're watching the northern lights dance across the sky. Ribbons of green, purple, blue, so beautiful, they will take your breath away. But while you're staring up in wonder, something invisible is happening inside of your body. The same solar explosions that paint the auras can actually disrupt your heartbeat, mess with your mood, and even increase your risk of stroke. This isn't science fiction. This is the hidden power of geomagnetic storms. And today, we're going inside the science to show exactly how space weather reaches down and touches every single one of us. So buckle up. You're about to discover why the sun might secretly be the biggest influencer of your health. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Chloe with the Galactic Soul, a consciousness and energetics coach, and I'm here today to talk about how geomagnetic storms affect us humans. So first off, I want to go over what a geomagnetic storm is. These happen when a massive burst of plasma from the sun, called a coronal mass ejection, or CME, slams into the Earth's magnetic field. Think of Earth's magnetic bubble as a giant shield. And when that shield gets rattled, it rings like a bell. And this ringing creates a rapid fluctuation in the magnetic field at ground level, sometimes by hundreds or even thousands of nanotesla in a single hour. These are the storms we're talking about. G1 is minor, and G5 is extreme. The 1989 Quebec blackout, that was a G5. The famous Carrington event of 1859, off the charts. But let's talk about how that affects humans. First off, heart rate variability. Let's start with our heart. So, in 2018, a team from the HeartMath Institute in California analyzed 30 years of data from 6 monitoring stations around the world. They compared geomagnetic activity with something called heart rate variability, or HRV. The tiny beat-to-beat changes that show how well your nervous system is balancing fight or flight versus rest and digest. The result? Well, on the high geomagnetic storm days, global HRV dropped by an average of 15 to 25%. That is not a small percentage. That is the same drop doctors see in patients right before a heart attack. A Lithuanian study in 2021 went even further, because during a G4 storm, hospital admissions for heart rate rhythm disturbances, or arrhythmias, jumped 38%. Why? Your heart is electric, okay? Rapid magnetic swings can induce microcurrents within your body that interfere with your day-to-day signals, causing unrest. Now that we went over the heart, let's talk about blood pressure and stroke risk. Russian scientists in Siberia, where geomagnetic storms are very, very intense, tracked 85,000 people for decades. During storms above 100 nanotesla disturbance, systolic blood pressure spiked an average of 9 mmHg in healthy adults. In hypertensive, up to 23 mmHg. That's the difference between going from a normal to stage 2 hypertension in just a few hours. And strokes? A 2022 meta-analysis in Stroke Journal combined 14 studies and found a 19% increased risk of stroke on high geomagnetic activity days. The mechanism? Magnetic fluctuations make blood thicker and stickier by increasing platelet aggregation. Basically, your blood gets gummier when the Earth's field wobbles, which has been happening a lot lately. This leads me into mental health and mood. So, your brain. What does geomagnetic storms play with your brain? Well, in Lithuania, again, the same team, looked at suicidal rates from 1990 to 2018. After controlling for season, unemployment, anything that could contribute to a suicide, they found a 32% increase in male suicides 2 days after a major geomagnetic storm. Depression? Well, a study of 100,000 UK Biobank participants showed that people with a history of depression reported worse symptoms on a high K-index day. Even healthy people feel it. NASA has monitored astronauts for decades. Isolated from Earth's magnetic field in space, they report anxiety, irritability, and sleep disruption. Back on Earth, a 2023 Polish study put volunteers in a shielded room that mimicked storm-level magnetic fluctuations. And after just 90 minutes, their EEGs showed increased theta waves, exactly what you see in early dementia or severe stress. Now, this severe stress can come to us in a bunch of different ways, but one is sleep disruption. Geomagnetic storms absolutely wreck our sleep. A 2019 study in Bioelectromagnetics gave 32 volunteers wearable devices for 6 weeks. On nights with K index 5 or higher, deep sleep dropped 18%, and it took people 41 minutes longer to fall asleep. Why? Your pineal gland, the little pea-sized organ that makes up melatonin, well, it has magnetite crystals. Yes, actually, little tiny magnets are in there. And when the external field shifts fast, the pineal gets confused and cuts melatonin production by up to 60%. As a result, you can wake up groggy, cranky, and reach for that extra cup of coffee on the exact days the sun decides to burp up plasma directly at us. And we are not the only ones that are affected. During the 2003 Halloween storms, homing pigeons released in Germany got completely lost. Only 7% actually made it home, compared to a 92% on quiet days. Whales beach themselves more often during storms, and dogs refuse to poop in their usual north-south alignment. And yes, that is a real study. It is a Czech study from 2014. And humans, we have magnetite in our ethmoid bones, right behind our nose. This is why we get super congested when there is an energy shift. A 1980s Caltech experiment showed humans can detect magnetic fields when blindfolded if the field rotates slowly. Rapid storm fluctuations overwhelm that system, giving some people vertigo or space sickness on the ground. But let's talk about the Carrington event from 1859. What if that happened today? Let's play worst case scenario. If you haven't heard of this, the Carrington event of 1859 was probably an X50 solar flare. 50 times stronger than anything in our modern records. Telegraph wires melted. Auroras were seen in Hawaii. But if hit today, NOAA estimates $2 trillion in damage in the first year. Transformers exploding, GPS dead, internet blackouts for months. But the human cost? Well, a 2017 modeling study in space weather predicted that during a Carrington-level storm, heart attack deaths in the US alone would spike 300 to 500% for 3 days. That's tens of thousands of excess deaths. And that's before you even count accidents from GPS failures, planes losing navigation, or hospitals losing power. So who are the most vulnerable? Not everyone feels storms equally. You and I both know that. But the most vulnerable people are the people with heart conditions, pacemakers, as they can misread storm-induced currents. Obviously the elderly, because they have less physiologic reserve. Shift workers and frequent flyers. They already have low melatonin. People living at high latitudes, so Canada, Scandinavia, Alaska, they get hit the hardest. And lastly, anyone on beta blockers or antidepressants, because these meds alter how the nervous system handles magnetic stress. But can we protect ourselves? The good news is yes. I have some short-term and some long-term things that us humans can do in order to really help protect ourselves from these geomagnetic storms and the shifts of energy. We could always check out the space weather apps, spaceweatherlive.com, or NOAA's SWPC. If a G3 plus storm is coming, avoid alcohol, get extra rest, and maybe skip that intense workout. You can also try grounding. Walking barefoot on grass has been shown in very small studies to stabilize HRV during minor storms. The more grounding, the better. Also, if you want to look at grounding mats or a grounding mattress cover, I personally work with Down to Ground, and they have amazing products that help you stay grounded in your day-to-day life. If you don't have time to go outside, step on grass, or it's too cold where you live, this is definitely an option. I personally use their mattress cover. It has been a game changer, allowing me to sleep and ground at the same time. This is a game changer. And this actually helps with inflammation within your body, which is brought on by these stressors. If you're interested, I will definitely leave something in the description box below. That way you can get a percentage off of your order. And thanks again to Down to Ground for helping me and my followers out. Also, you can wear blue light glasses because that's going to preserve whatever melatonin you have left. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to let you know that I have a course named Vibes. If you have trouble letting go of the old you, think you're too old or too late to do something, Are you trying to manifest something and nothing happens? Or you may just feel stuck. In Vibes, you will learn the basics of spirituality and how going through a spiritual awakening will change your life, what the depths of trauma are, and how to resolve it, how to shift your mindset in order to fulfill your purpose. And then you also get my 7-day energy reset in order to shift your vibration. All of that is included in Vibes, which is in the description box below if you're interested. As for long-term effects, architects in Finland now actually design a magnetically quiet hospital room for heart patients specifically. And some researchers are testing low-dose melatonin supplements timed to storm forecasts. So early results are very promising. So if you know that there is a geomagnetic storm coming, definitely take a melatonin. It will definitely help. But let's look at the bigger picture before we go. Here's what blows my mind. Every single cell in your body evolved inside Earth's magnetic field. We are literally tuned to it like a radio. When that field gets scrambled up, even a little bit, billions of biological processes get static, inflammation. We spend billions trying to fix heart disease and depression, yet we ignore the giant fusion reactor 93 million miles away that flickers our magnetic environment every 11 years. This solar maximum has peaked in 2025 and 2026. We are in it right now. It is the solar cycle maximum. In May 2024, we had the strongest storm in 20 years, a G5. People reported migraines, insomnia, heart palpitations from Texas to Tokyo. But that was just a warm-up. So next time you see the aurora photos on your feed, remember, beauty and danger are in the same event, just viewed from different angles. The sun isn't just giving us light, it's giving us heartbeat, sometimes steady and sometimes unsteady. Learn to read the forecast, not just for satellites and power grids, but for your own body. Because space weather isn't out there, it's in here. Thanks for listening today. And if you want a full list of all of the studies that I mentioned within this video, definitely make sure you look at the description box below. And stay grounded, literally. It will help. Again, I'm Chloe with the Galactic Soul, and this has been the hidden side of space weather. Stay stellar.